what is being used in Nairobi, in Mathare, that you suppose could be different from the other parts, such that this evening we're discussing data that is, hailing from Mathare?
Thank you. At AHF Mathare, we basically one step forward from whatever the market is offering. The most available test in the market is the rapid test and the basic wet preps for urine analysis and the dipstick. We have a PCR machine for STI that is subjecting one sample to 12 microorganisms. So it increases the target and also increases the chance of an accurate diagnosis compared when we do the rapid and basically the microscopy wet mounts.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. How different, and how can we scale up to this to other spaces in the country, such that then we actually are not talking about this being arrested at the level of Mathare and maybe the other parts of Nairobi, but basically to the country at large?
Actually, from the highlights, our country program director, Dr. Samuel Kinyanjui, actually broke down the cost per patient. So the first question is sustainability. Are we able to sustain the PCR machine in all the facilities in Kenya? That's the biggest question, because cost per patient was estimated to be between 4,800 to 5,000 per test. So that is actually what needs to be considered. If in terms of policy development, policymakers can consider this so that they can give it a priority, maybe every referral hospital to have a PCR machine for diagnostic of STIs. So that would be a bigger challenge in scaling it down.
All right. It's one thing to have the machines and have them right and for proper diagnosis then to be done. You speak of, asymptomatic cases. You speak of drug-resistant cases. So what are we doing to ensure that, STI treatment protocols then are addressed in the sense that, of course, the rise of these drug-resistant cases is literally arrested or perhaps reduced? Maybe
first, if you go through our testing algorithm, we have a way of screening tests, because not all samples are subject to PCR. From the number you saw, we have seen 1,545, but only 527 were subject to PCR. So we have screening tests from what Gladys was explaining. So the entry point for every patient who comes to the lab is urine analysis test. You start with the urine analysis. So depending on what urine analysis will show on the wet preps and also swabs from the genitals and from the source for gram staining. Now, depending on this, the initial test will make the lab team make the decision whether this sample qualifies for a PCR or does qualify for a PCR. Because I walk in, I'm asymptomatic. Then my urine analysis is clear. I don't need to be done for PCR.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful. Now, we talk about, of course, the limited concerns of surveillance across not just Nairobi, but the country. And like you rightfully put it, that there's more that needs to be done. Just how much has this engagement been expanded such that then we can have this data coming out so that it helps us as a country to, advise the citizens as well as to make the necessary adjustments?
I think this is a discussion in progress. From this week on Thursday, when we're launching the wellness clinic, the discussion kicked off. So once the discussion is done and we have a way forward, when the right time comes, the communication will be given. But for now, it might be too early to preempt.
Okay, so Gladys, we come back to you. Should STI services, or perhaps in your opinion, do you think STI services should be more integrated with HIV programs in high-burden areas? Because I've also heard Elizabeth highlighting that, of course, while we're talking about STIs that go to levels of gonorrhea, syphilis, HIV then as well becomes a concern that we need to address.
Yes, in my own opinion, it is important, considering that HIV itself is also categorized as an STD. So that means the behavior predisposes to STIs, not isolating HIV. So in my opinion, should be integrated. And yes, we should also intensify patient education such that we are informed, we have the knowledge, such that we'll not shy away from getting to the hospital. And also, that is also going to help to clear the stigma that is associated with HIV and not these others.
Okay.
Yes.
What I hear is that you speak of the need for us to have massive public health campaigns. Do you suppose government is doing much of that, or even, talk of private entities? Are they just doing much to ensure that, that STI awareness is raised among Nairobians and basically the country's general population?
One, I feel that the space maybe is not very safe, even when awareness is created.